So today I wanted to talk about kind of my story with food. I wanted to talk about um, how I kind of came to the place where I'm at. For a long time I felt like, oh, I don't have a story. I don't have a journey. I don't have a transformation story. I didn't lose a bunch of weight. I have always kind of been healthy, I felt like. But the more I think about it, the more I realize that, yeah, I have a story just like anyone else to getting where I am right now. And that's important to share and important for you guys to know about me. So today I wanted to tell you more about that. Sorry if I get a little long-winded, but it is what it is. So growing up, I grew up in a home that was, my mom was very health conscious. She gave us a lot of herbal supplements growing up. We didn't just run to the doctor for medicine if we were sick. We grew a big garden, so we ate a lot of our own food. And growing up now, I realize that a lot of that is because we just didn't have a lot of money, and I never knew that as a kid. We grew a garden and we ate food from our garden, and we got local meat, and my dad hunted and we got our meat that way. And so we never had like sugar cereal. That was like a camping thing. If we were going camping, then we got sugar cereal, and it was a big deal. And so when we went camping, we would get sugar cereal, and I thought that was so awesome. I come from a family of 7, so every time I went grocery shopping with my mom, I remember going to Safeway as a kid and begging every time for a donut. Every single time we went to Safeway, I wanted a donut. Like, I wanted a Long John. That's what we call them, the maple, but now apparently I've become Americanized and I call them maple bars, but they were called Long Johns, and that's what I wanted every time we went to Safeway. And I would beg, and I didn't always get one. My mom, sometimes it was like a special treat, and I think they were like, I don't know, I want to say like 40 cents, or maybe 50 cents, maybe, then, and it was like a big deal if my mom let me get a Long John at the grocery store. There were no like checkout line treats happening, none of that. And so I didn't grow up with a lot of like candy and sugar in the house. Of course we ate it. As a kid, I ate candy. My kids have eaten candy. Contrary to popular belief, they have eaten candy. And we do have treats once in a while, but it wasn't in our home all the time. And that's kind of how I feel now. If it's not in your home, your kids aren't going to eat it as much, and they're not going to gravitate towards it as much. I don't know, maybe some people's children who feel deprived, they want it more because of that. But my kids, it's almost like they've learned how they feel when they have those treats every once in a while. And some of them, one of them, my oldest especially, she doesn't like it. She likes how her body feels with good, fresh, healthy food. So anyway, that's kind of how I grew up, with not a lot of, the treats and processed foods in the house. And when I was a teenager, I started having gallbladder issues, which now that I think about it, is kind of sad, like being a teenager and having like some health issues. I just kind of thought, whatever, and I'd be out with my friends if we went out to eat or something, then all of a sudden I'd have a gallbladder attack, and it hurt really bad. If you have ever had a gallbladder attack or issues that way, it hurts. It does not feel good. Sometimes I'd be on the floor just in a ball crying, and that can be embarrassing. But I had these gallbladder issues kind of as a teen, and then I went to college and met my husband, got married, and I was still kind of having some gallbladder issues. Anyway, so I decided that I needed to have it removed. because these issues weren't really going away. So my husband and I were in Canada, luckily, so it was going to be free, free healthcare. I was in the hospital. I was admitted to have it removed, and I had been fasting for a day. They had done the ultrasound, they had done the tests, and then the gastroenterologist, whatever they're called, I forget what they're called. She came in, the doctor who's going to do it. She came in and just wanted to talk to me before the surgery. So she came in and we had a little chat, and I just said, "Is this something that I can fix, like with lifestyle? Is this something that I can fix on my own without having an organ removed?" And she said, "Oh, totally." I was like, "Okay." So let's not do it. So we didn't. So she said, "Okay, great." And I said, "Okay, like, thanks for the free night in the hospital. We just stayed in the hospital overnight for fun." So we checked out of the hospital, and I just started eating better. I just stopped eating those things that I knew triggered it for me, which were melted cheese is a big one for me. So melted cheese and fast food, greasy, fried, any of that stuff, and also fresh baked goods, white, like donuts, and like white bread, things that were like fresh baked using light refined flour. Those really affected me too. So I didn't cut anything out or do anything like that, but I was just more careful, and it helped a lot. And then we ate pretty well. I liked to think that we were healthy, and then I had my first baby. And after I had her and she started to get old enough to start eating solids, about 6 months old, I did with her. I kind of feel bad now because I just did everything that I was told, or the people online told me to do. I was at every single appointment on the dot. 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, 8 weeks. I was there, and she was getting every shot and getting everything that she needed, and that was fine. She was fine, but when it came time to feed her solids, I went and bought the rice cereal and mixed in some breast milk and gave that to her, and then I thought, oh, and then I started reading a little bit more, and then it was right during this time where I was just starting to feed her solids. My sister-in-law got in touch with me and said, "Hey, I have a book that you need to read. You would love it. It's amazing. You'd love it." So I ordered the book. It's called Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon, and I devoured it. This book, I would say, I know I throw the term around, changed my life, but this book changed my life. It led me in a direction in a path that I've been on ever since, to really feed my family real food and to teach other people how to feed their family real food, and what real food means, and what it is to eat this way, and how to prepare your food in the way that your body was really meant to digest and take in all those nutrients. And so I just devoured that book. It's a cookbook, but there is so much information in it, and I actually don't really use the recipes, but I love the information, and I just keep going back to it and reading and learning from it. I learn something new every time I pick it up. So that kind of changed for me, and I started feeding my daughter avocado and egg yolks from pastured eggs, and just all these nutrient dense foods. And I started looking online into this world of real food and traditional foods, and my mind was blown. It was amazing to me that it just made sense. This to me was what God intended us to do, to eat the food that comes from the earth and comes from animals that are treated the right way, and just prepare our foods in the right way. And And so to me, it made sense, and it lit a fire in me that has been going ever since. 8 years later, I'm still just burning inside to share the information that I learned. And that doesn't mean I was perfect from that day on. I definitely wasn't, and I still am not. So don't believe otherwise. I am not, just sitting here munching on carrots all day long. I'm really not. I go through phases just like anyone else. I have been a victim of emotional eating in the past. There's times when I just want to curl up on the couch and eat chocolate and watch a sappy movie, but there's times when I just want to retreat and not not care anymore. Just for a minute, I just want to not care and not worry about what's in what I'm eating. But most of the time, I'm very aware and I'm very conscious of what goes into my body and what goes into, more importantly, my children's body. And I really want them to learn about food. I want them to know about it. I don't want to just be saying, here, this is good for you, but I want them to know why, and I want them to feel it within their own body, why they would be eating those things. And so for me, it's been a transition. It really has. And the major turning point, I would say, was when I was diagnosed gluten intolerant. 2.5 years ago, I was pregnant with my 4th baby. I was about 6 months along, and I got really sick. I was in a lot of pain for about a week. I couldn't keep anything in my body. It wasn't coming up, but it was coming out, and I couldn't keep anything in. And I was in a lot of pain, just constant pain. I was, kind of doubled over in pain and just having a really hard time keeping the food in my body. And my midwife at the time said, this seems like it could be a gluten issue. Like, let's eliminate it. That's the only way to tell. Eliminate it for a month or so, and then come and we'll reintroduce it and see how you feel. And so I did. I completely eliminated gluten from my diet. For about 6 weeks, I was strictly gluten-free, and then I had a wheat thin cracker, which really I should have had a donut, but I don't know why. I decided to eat a wheat thin cracker back when I bought wheat thins, and now my kids are having them all the time. Had a cracker. Within 20 minutes, I was back on the toilet in pain, was coming right back out. So then I kind of knew that something was up. And so we said, okay, well, I guess you're allergic to gluten and go gluten-free. And so I did. And for about 6 months, I was strictly gluten-free, which is hard. If you know anyone who has to go gluten-free, it's hard. I will tell you, there is wheat, there is gluten in everything, in a lot of things you don't suspect, in shampoo and salad dressings and processed everything. There's wheat in everything. So I went gluten-free, and it was hard because I love baking. Baking has been my thing for a long time, for as long as I can really remember. I've loved being in the kitchen helping my mom, and I've loved baking cookies with my friends or by myself, and I've loved baking with my kids most of the time. Sometimes, deep breaths, but I love to bake, and it's not the same. When you bake with all those crazy, weird nut flours and alternative flours that are gluten-free, it's just not the same. Chocolate chip cookies are just not the same if they're made with almond flour than if they're made with wheat flour. So I started to get a little sad about it after about 6 months, and I thought, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Something's wrong, and I've been eating well, I'm healthy, I'm teaching other people how to be healthy, I'm juicing, I'm doing all these good things. What am I missing? And then I struck on the whole natural yeast thing, which I had been using, just not as much as then I started to. And so then I got back into natural yeast, and since then, obviously, have gone crazy with the bread lady craziness. And I can't talk enough about that, and that's a whole other video to talk about natural yeast, but I can eat anything that I make with my natural yeast and regular flour, whole wheat flour, and no problems. So that was exciting, and it got me back into eating. But what I had to do, and what I've done since being diagnosed, is I have done some really focused gut healing. I have done some key things that I feel have really helped me to heal the damage that was done in my gut and that made me so sick in that first place. And just within the last 6 months, so about a couple years, of adding these things into my diet and being really careful about what I ate. I've cleaned up my diet a lot over the last couple of years. And then adding in these things, I've added in bone broth, which is excellent to heal the gut, and it's great for immunity. I've added in bone broth. I've added in grass-fed beef gelatin, a lot of that, which is very healing to damage that's been done in the gut. And also I've added in a lot of fermented foods and drinks and beverages, and that I feel those 3 things, along with cleaning up my diet and getting rid of processed food in my life for the most part, those things have really, I think, healed the damage that was done. And I've now, if I go out and I want a donut, just a regular old gluten-filled commercial yeast donut, white flour and sugar and terrible vegetable oils or whatever. If I want to eat one now, it doesn't make me sick the way it did 8 months ago, probably. I might get like the brain fog or like a headache, slight headache that night or the next day from it, but it doesn't send me straight to the toilet. It doesn't give me intense pain the way that it did 8 months ago. So I feel I've really healed a lot of the damage that was done in my gut that I just didn't know about for years and years, and that's exciting to me. And that is something that is just so, I don't want to say magical, but it's such a testament to the human body and the power of food and healing, and really how it can heal, and just the power that it has in your life. So now to me, I eat a lot of vegetables. I've kind of found my balance. I've found my happy place. I feel content. I feel comfortable. I feel like if I really want to go to In-N-Out and get a burger and fries and a milkshake, then I can, and that's okay. And I feel okay doing that because I'm in a good place where I eat well most of the time. And if I want to indulge, or if I want the hangover, the sugar hangover, and I'm willing to do that, I can. And it's a really good place to be. And I hope to, through these videos and through my website and the things that I want to teach about, I just hope to help other people get to this place, to get to a place of healing and of health and of balance and happiness with the food that you eat. I don't count calories. I don't count macros. I don't do any of those things. I just eat real food, mostly plants, and good protein and good fat, and I just try and keep a good balance. And so I just want to share kind of my story so that you know where I'm coming from, and you know that I'm not perfect all the time, but I'm in a good place. And really, I don't tout any specific diet. I just feel that you don't need to go on a diet. You need to have a diet. You need to have a diet that just works for you and is good. And if counting calories and those things help you and they don't stress you out and they make you happy, then do it. If doing a Whole30 every 6 months helps you and makes you happy and gets you back on track, do it. The point is, find something that works for you and try and just add in some good things. My biggest food philosophy, really, besides just eating real food, knowing where your food comes from, reading ingredient labels, is to just add in something good. If you're in a place where you're overwhelmed because most of your diet right now is coming from convenience foods or processed, fast food, whatever. I know that not everyone eats the way I do. I know this. I'm well aware. And I don't judge that, but I do want to help. And so I feel like if you're in a place where you don't know where to start, my biggest piece of advice is to just start adding in something good. Add in those small things. Add in more vegetables or more water is huge. Add in some good things, and eventually your body will start to respond and thank you, and your body will start to crave those good things, and some of the bad things are gonna fade out and fade away, and you're going to realize that you're eating more and more good things over time, because that's what your body wants and what your body craves. So keep it simple, and we'll chat next time.